Hi, I'm Jane Brecken. I'm being joined by Dr. Rosie Kuhn today. We're continuing our discussion around two transformational coaching workshops we're offering at Gull Lake this summer, August 10th and 11th, Who's Running My Business, August 13th and 14th, Deep Recovery. Thanks for joining me today, Rosie. Let's keep talking about these wonderful workshops.
Thanks, Jane. I'm happy to be here.
Great. So we're going to talk about empowerment today because it's a big word. It's a big word, and you've written a wonderful book called Self-Empowerment 101, which is what kind of got me lit up and into this whole idea of we are powerful people, always making really empowering choices.
Yes.
So around that question, so in this book, you talk about, Rosie, having right relationship to power and to self. Can you just say more about that, and especially as it's going to involve this workshop presentation that you're doing?
Sure. So the absolute truth is that we are a spark of energy that is part and parcel of the universe, right? And the universe is continually unfolding and evolving. So that means that we, as the spark of being, is 100% potentiality. We are 100% the power of the universe in form. Now, it's not just in a sense that energy that says I am this, but it's all of who we are. The cells in my skin, the cells in my organs, my being, all of my being is energy in motion. And so we're trained to think, oh, well, I don't have this or I don't have that. And so our potential goes to how do I get what I lack? Okay. So either way, we are constantly empowering ourselves to choose. We choose to think in terms of fearful thoughts or negative thoughts, or we're choosing in service to positive thoughts or thoughts that are inspiring or creating or evolving us to the next level. So we think disempowering thoughts or we think thoughts that are empowering. Either way, we are empowering ourselves to think and to choose. So this is really, really important because in my work as a life and business coach, in even working with executives, I am listening for what's the disempowering thought that this very powerful person is choosing to hold in a sense, their inventory of thoughts. So even the most powerful people on the planet choose to sometimes consider negative thoughts or limiting beliefs and limiting interpretations. So my job is to say you are empowered to choose that thought, or you're empowered to choose a thought that actually takes you in the direction of innovation, inspiration, creativity, in fulfilling that potentiality.
Oh.
So we are constantly empowering ourselves to either think disempowering thoughts or empowering ourselves to think empowering thoughts.
Yeah. That was just so empowering for me to because I didn't really know until I really looked at that I had this relationship with power, and that if I changed how I thought, then I can have what I want.
That's right.
And so it is.
That's right.
It's all about our relationship with power as well as ourself, for
yes.
sure.
And what we don't. We miss that part in the synapse, in a sense of, if I change my thoughts, I will be happier, in a sense, okay, or I'll be more fulfilled. Right. But it's right. That place where I go, if I change, okay, I will change. So we empower ourselves to make that change. I'm doing it as if it's up here in our brain, but it's right. It's who we are. Is we say, I'm going to look at this differently.
Right.
I'm empowering myself to look at this differently. Okay.
Right.
Even when I was talking up here and then I move my hands down here, I'm empowering myself to make that difference.
Right. Instead of waiting for something else to change, I'm just going to change a thought and It opens up a whole new
That's
sort
right.
of way to see things. Yeah.
We in our last video, we kind of talked about the degree to which we are thinking negative thoughts.
Mhm.
And what occurs quite often is, and this question comes up, it's like, to what degree do I like myself? Do I trust myself? To what degree do I respect myself? To what degree do I think I'm a good, whole person who has what it takes to have what I want? Okay. So quite often, that degree to which I like myself or trust myself or respect myself or value my presence in the world is so much smaller than what's the full potential of our presence in the world.
Right.
Does that
And
make
just
sense?
what you bet. And so what you just you first spoke to our relationship to power, and the second piece that you just shared was more about relationship to self.
That's right.
What is my relationship?
And
Cool.
it's always our relationship. What's my right relationship with myself in relation to power, if you will.
Right.
We think we're relating to what's my relationship to my career or to my partner or my children, but we're actually in this relationship with ourself first and foremost.
Right.
And so it's asking those questions. How do I want to be in the world? And it's like that. What do I want? How do I want to utilize that enormous universal energy that is within me, that is me?
Right.
How do I want that? Do I want to use that to create more negativity in my life? Do I want to use that to create more positive in my life, more love, more beauty, more fun, more fulfillment?
Right.
That's the question, and that's only in relation to what I want for myself.
Right. Oh, thanks, Rosie. Could we just talk a minute about context? You talk a lot about context in your book as well, and about shifting context. And I think you just spoke to it. But so I'd like you to just sort of talk about how that context is going to keep coming up in both of these workshops, and the importance of shifting context around all things.
Great. So the context is, we have contexts. We have ideas about everything. I've got a pair of glasses here, and they look a certain way, and they are made a certain way because of a context which I have in my head about glasses, what they should look like, how they should be made, all of those. So all my thoughts about glasses go into this particular pair. So in a sense, what I think, all my interpretations about glasses or about me or about other people, about work, about love, about money, each of those is a context, and I have very specific thoughts about that context, about money, we'll say, because that's a big one, and that's a whole chapter in the book, is what's my thoughts and perspectives and my interpretations, my beliefs, my judgments about money. And what we do, we always are acting, always acting based on our interpretations about something. So if I have thoughts about money in terms of, I can't make it, I can't get it, I'm unworthy, I have no power in relation to other people, or because I'm a woman, I'm going to make less. Those are all thoughts which will lead me to do something in a way that will either bring more money or less money to me.
Back to the power, back to the empowerment piece.
That's right. So and we've heard this so many times by so many, leaders and thought gurus of change your thoughts and you change your the outcome. But you also have to be we're dealing in both of these. This deep recovery is not just, it's a superficial thinking process. It's a whole being process, because some of our thoughts are based on a survival strategy or survival mechanism. If I do something different than what the interpretations are, I might die. We talked about this quite early. A lot of our limited action comes from something might happen to me. I might get rejected or betrayed or abandoned. I might die. I might be annihilated. So we have to, not only we're changing our beliefs, we're changing our cellular memory. We're evolving in many, many ways that go beyond just thinking. And that's why it's important to include the shifting of our being, shifting what our actions, shifting our the way we hold reality in our orientation. So context, and the context also in terms of circumstances. And quite often I am not in control of my circumstances. I am in fact powerless over my circumstances quite often. I have certain things going on in my life right now. And those circumstances I don't have power over. I'm out of control in terms of those circumstances. And this is where in terms of substance abuse or addictions happen is, what do we do when we're out of control? We get angry, so it's like the thought is, I am out of control. And so I can either get mad, get sad, do something bad. I can feel powerless and depressed. I can go drink, or I can go eat, or I can go play video games. I can do all kinds of things in that moment of feeling powerless. Or I can say, okay, I accept in this moment, in this particular circumstance, I am powerless. I don't have control over the outcome. I do have control in how I be in my circumstances. I have control over how I choose and empower myself to be within these circumstances. And this is where both in deep recovery and in the who's running our business is so important, because it's like, I can't control my finances right now, given this particular, it's Friday afternoon or whatever it is. Okay, so what is going on inside of you that needs you need to be attending to? And this is so important in our relationship to our businesses and to our life in a sense, because again, we're relating to how am I being with myself in the midst of this circumstance.
Right. Well, thank you, Rosie. And I loved how you just wove in both the deep recovery workshop as well as the business workshop, that regardless of which one we're in, we're learning how to sort of make those shifts in how we think and how we perceive things.
Yes.
And then we can, that allows us to then be with what is and with our own powerlessness.
That's right.
Appreciate that.
And sometimes it seems like it's, what do you mean I'm powerless? You just told me I'm powerful always. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, you are. And some things you cannot control, but you're still empowered to say, okay, here's a natural disaster, or here's a situation in the world, here's a political situation, or here's an environmental, and I have no control. I'm powerless. It's like, yes. And so how do you be with your powerlessness? And this is an empowering conversation, because it's like the reality of my being is this, whether it's a terminal illness or the most amazing gift, falling from the sky. It's like, how do you be with this? How do you be with this for yourself, in yourself?
Right.
It's totally about empowering.
This is a great place to wrap up for today, Rosie. Thank you. You've given me some things to think about, and hopefully those that are going to be coming to the workshops, enticing them to come and learn more. Thank you, and until next time, we will see you soon.
All right. Bye for now.
Be well. Bye-bye.